What's good? What's good? What's good? I am Damo, the political plug. This is the Chop Up Show. Thank y'all for joining me. Now, I know I'm one deep. I'm missing my dog, Toya G. She's at a debate camp running shit like she always does every summer. So y'all usually see us take a break around the summertime because that's when either her or George, they at some debate camp. So the schedule just get thrown off. But shout out to Emmanuel, shout out to Marcel, shout out to Tyler in the building. But we was probably gonna take a little bit longer of a break, have our, as we always have a new meeting before we start our next season going into the fall. But I gotta get this off. I hit Toya up. I was like, man, listen, I gotta go live tonight. I gotta get this in. I've been sitting on this for too long. I got a break from grad school. So I finally got this time in the evening to be able to get it in the way that I want to get it in. And so I let Toya know, like, you will be missed, but I gotta get this off. He said the show missed the whole last word. Yeah, man, summertimes it's crazy. I'm finished. I got one more semester of grad school and then I'll be done with that. And then we'll really be back at it. But right now it's a difficult time in the summertime for our schedules because of the traveling and everything else that be going. But and to Tyler's point, it's a reason why this specifically we got to get it in on this Epstein conversation. I definitely got to get this off because what we are starting to see is even more significant than the war. To be honest, it's even more significant than the war because with what's going on with Jeffrey Epstein and how MAGA is feeling about Jeffrey Epstein, it's revealing a lot. But it's also putting us in a position where we just got to be honest with ourselves. We got to be 100% honest with ourselves. And Donald Trump is proving that the way political discourse, the way political dialogue happens right now, it got to change. It can't go down the way that it was going down. All right, so getting right into it, unless you've been living under a rock or whatever, or ain't been paying attention, it came out, Kash Patel, Bondi came out and said that there is no Epstein list. There are no Epstein files. It was all conspiracy theory. Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. There is no Epstein list. We don't have a list of names of people that were being blackballed or being blackmailed. All of that is a conspiracy. And niggas is not having it. And as well they shouldn't. Especially with the conversation and how the conversation has been about Epstein, about what it means to release the files and everything else. But what's more important than just the idea of releasing the files is the Donald Trump's response. Because I don't know if y'all have seen or heard Donald Trump's response, but his response is straight up saying that y'all are making a lot about nothing. Donald Trump is completely trying to distance himself from any calls to get rid of any of the or expose any of the Epstein shit. And niggas ain't having it. Now, by this time, y'all done heard me talk enough about political discourse and how I feel like it's gotten lazy because since Obama, everything is just blame the Democrats. The prevailing attitude has been, if it's something that you don't like, if it's something to be critical of, what it means to think outside the box is just to blame Democrats. And Donald Trump really just fucked that up for y'all. And because in the most poetic and like the most karmic twist, Donald Trump is now using blame the Democrats on his own constituents. Donald Trump is using it's Obama and them that got y'all talking about the Epstein files. Donald Trump is literally admitting that the propaganda that he was pushing during the election about the Epstein files came from Obama and them, came from Biden and them, Nancy Pelosi, the Democrats. Epstein was never a big deal according to them. And Donald Trump is saying to y'all, his supporters, that because y'all are getting caught up in the Democratic bullshit, that's the only reason y'all think this is a big deal. Now, this recent development, if it does anything, it proves that everybody that was talking about they like Donald Trump because he kept it real. They like Donald Trump because he's honest. They like Donald Trump because you was a damn lie. Y'all can't even keep it real because y'all can't even identify the phoniness of Donald Trump. Just like everybody was already saying. It wasn't like it was the world was convinced. Nah, there was a strong group, a strong constituents of individuals that was just like, well, maybe he's not that bad. He's draining the swamp. He's pushing back against the elites. He's changing the system. And then when y'all expose him for doing the exact opposite of that. Toya, I'm sorry. It was late. I was prepping and it got even later and I was like, man, let me go. Cause I was supposed to start an hour ago. I was supposed to start, but shout out to T in the chat. Shout out to T in the chat. But it like literally when the rhetoric that he has taught y'all to use to bypass any criticism, the rhetoric that he taught y'all to use to get past any accountability, blame the Democrats. But what about Obama? He is now using it on y'all when y'all try to hold him accountable. And as much as that's a great gotcha, we was right. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all didn't know what y'all was talking about. Y'all was off. As much as it feels good to get that off, it actually plays a much greater, better role in how we move forward because y'all niggas done lost all credibility. There's no way that y'all can sit back and make the claims about who y'all think Donald Trump is or who he's gonna be. And this is how he's responding to y'all holding him accountable. He telling y'all he don't even want y'all votes. He's telling y'all that he don't even want the support. If y'all tripping off Epstein, and this is the nigga y'all was cutting for, he called MAGA people stupid. He called them weaklings. He said he cool on their support. He said, if y'all are gonna trip off this list, even though this is something that he ran on, and we're gonna play some of them videos, we're gonna look at that. But if y'all are gonna trip off this list, you are now the problem. You are the enemy to MAGA. You got a problem with Epstein? Oh, you a Democratic agent. You got a problem with Epstein? Oh, you a Democratic shield. That's all. That's the shit y'all say, right? Any progressive talking points, you just a Democratic shield. You being paid by the Democrats. So all of y'all tripping off Epstein's being paid by the Democrats. And this is exactly what happens when we allow bullshit partisan rhetoric to dictate how we talk politics. Because it's easy when y'all arguing with niggas when conservatives are arguing with niggas on the internet, when they going back and forth in comment sections or calling niggas out. It's easy. Oh, Democratic shield. The Democrats are paying you, right? Yeah, all of this is you just trying to spread them Democratic talking points. Is the Epstein files Democratic talking points? That shit is dead in the mud now. And this is exactly what y'all get. Y'all celebrity worship has now been flipped on you. So do you look at Donald Trump and do you continue to call him out, or do you do what y'all been doing and keep making excuses? And we're going to see examples of both. We're going to see examples of both when we get into the videos. But what really got a nigga like, yo, this is a conversation we got to have, is the fact that we're seeing the veil fall. We are seeing the split. Even as we watch, because, as we get back to the show, we got to talk about what's going on with Mom Donnie and the collapse of Republicans. Got to have that conversation. But even as we see the collapse and Democrats fight over themselves and cannibalize themselves, we are now seeing for the first time Donald Trump really did something to piss MAGA off. And that's significant. Donald Trump's whole superpower was that the people that he ride behind will never do anything to hurt him, do anything to get in his way. And we starting to see that collapse. All right, we starting to see that collapse. Now, I want to start with his initial statements, right? Because again, as we get to the videos where he's talking about these Democratic talking points and a whole bunch of bullshit, As we get to that point, I want y'all to understand how we got here. Y'all done probably seen it at this point. Y'all done seen everybody playing these videos before. But as we continue this conversation and we talk about what this means for political discourse moving forward, we definitely got to understand how we got here. All right. So let's listen to Trump during campaign season.
Do declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would.
Release the list.
Nah, I want y'all to hear that. Before we get to him talking about Democrats, what did he say?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would.
Release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past.
So now we know that they just lie in these confirmation hearings. I mean, we already kind of had a feeling they lied, but now it's even more blatant and even more explicit. The people who running behind this administration, you have no room to speak on shit. If y'all cannot hold the nigga that y'all run behind, the people that y'all was supporting accountable for the shit that they said, we gonna talk how niggas just don't care about the policy part at all. Like the whole policy initiatives and where he's failed and came up short on policy, we gonna talk about that. But this was the thing that connected Donald Trump culturally to the white nationalist Twitters, the Reddits, all of the message boards, these conspiracies. Donald Trump was the one that was going to drain the swamp. Listen to him.
And how we are going to countermand missing children and exploited children going forward.
Just last week, the president's excellent pick for FBI Director Kash Patel vowed to work with me in releasing the Epstein records and breaking apart the trafficking rings that harm countless women and children across our country.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients.
Hold on. Because I want y'all to hear, because Kash Patel is the acting director of the FBI. He's in charge of the FBI. And you see what he vowed to do when he got there. But how did he talk about it during the campaign season? Let's go.
I'm not saying it's not there. Who are you going to get to get
that? For instance, who is currently holding, this is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book.
FBI.
But who?
They just be saying shit. And niggas treat it like it's Bible. They just be saying shit. And niggas treated it like this was, they're going to blow the lid wide off this thing.
That's under direct control of the director of the FBI. Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting of the Catholic school.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen that, right?
So why is the current director of the FBI saying it's not there? You gotta call into question the discernment of Trump supporters when this is how quickly everything. Remember, y'all was arguing for Donald Trump for two years, like a whole year before the election. Donald Trump was already running for office halfway into Joe Biden's presidency. Already running for office. Niggas was already using this idea that Donald Trump was going to be the one to bring truth to power and he's going to be the one to call out the elites and all this other shit. 2023. A year before all this shit, Kash Patel is saying that the FBI has the Black Book. So why is Kash Patel saying now that shit don't exist? Either y'all was lying then or you lying now. But either way, the people that ran behind y'all cannot be trusted to lead no type of political discourse. It's a wrap.
It's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out. The FBI airmailed into that operation and said this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation. A government gangster operation.
So what does it mean that you're saying that it's not coming out, Kash Patel? What does that mean if it's not coming out under you, Kash Patel? This is what happens when these people can't make up these fake boogeyman to scare niggas into following and running with their talking points. Out of all of the arguments in support of Donald Trump being elected, out of all of the arguments in support of Donald Trump being in power, the only one that seems the most plausible and makes the most sense right now is the idea that Trump being elected was a good thing because it would expose, it's what this system needed to show what it's really like. And boy, are these people doing a phenomenal job of exposing how full of shit they are. When they can sit back and say, oh, but the Democrats, with the shit that they taught y'all to say. Right now, they're sitting back. This is in 2023. The FBI director is somebody that Joe Biden put into place. So that FBI director, when he makes the decision not to release whatever, he's a gangster. So what is Kash Patel right now? What would Kash Patel in 2023 be able to say to Kash Patel in 2025? We're not done. Like I said, and y'all seen these, but we gotta lay down. I'm pretty sure y'all seen these, but we gotta lay down the framework. Hold on, I can't see it.
DOJ.
We gotta lay down the framework for why these people have lost any credibility in terms of leading political discourse. I'm not trying. A Trump supporter can't get loud with me about shit. A Trump supporter can't say shit to me about whether or not I believe X politician or this politician. You're getting played in the worst way. Listen to this shit.
Maybe releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. The thing that they saying don't exist is sitting on her desk right now to review. These ain't even good lies. These ain't even smart lies. Like when y'all sit up there and say, whoa, well, at least they're not politicians. You know, they're different. That means that they lie to you in even worse ways. You can't even say you was tricked by them. They just said whatever and you believed them. Let's finish. Where's she at?
That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
Done at the directive of the president. She's not saying that about sealing these, not releasing these Epstein records though. She's saying it was said to be reviewed at the directive of the president, but who's telling y'all not to release them? Now, we already know Elon Musk literally already spilled the beans when he was like, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files when they first started beefing. And it made sense that it didn't become that big of a deal because it was like, it was static, right? Like they wasn't cool. So, of course, Elon Musk could say some shit like that. And then as my homie Psycho pointed out, they also, it was also a thing to where, you know, the Diddy trial. So it was a lot of other stuff going on at that time. So when Elon said it, niggas was like, oh, Elon must be mad. But it wasn't really, was it anything to take serious though? But now, if it was at the directive of the president to review it, whose directive is telling you that there's nothing there? There's no list. Because she was specifically asked about a list. And the reason why I'm hammering home on the words that's being used is because when people are cutting for Trump supporters, they always say, or it's cutting for the Trump administration, the criticism is always, you're not listening to everything they saying. You taking what they saying out of context. She was asked about a list, and she said that list was on her desk to be reviewed. Along with, I don't know, MLK and all that other shit got thrown in there for whatever reason. Who the fuck knows? Like Tyler said, is there the MLK conspiracy that not like we know what happened with MLK. So that ain't it. But the reason why I'm hammering home on what's being said is because niggas like to act like conservatives, MAGA, Trump supporters don't say what the fuck they say. So as we listen to them try to clean this shit up, Listen to the blatant lies that are being told. I don't know if y'all remember this shit. I don't know if y'all remember this. Look at them binders. Look at them binders. Now pay close attention to what it say on the binder. They about to zoom in. Epstein files phase 1. Phase 1. Phase 1 would assume, right? Like if we using context clues, that they're going to be subsequent phases. We can assume that. They brought people out onto the White House lawn and gave them these fancy binders printed up by their staff. Phase 1 of the Epstein files. Now, what we didn't know at the time, we didn't know that this was going to be it. So it's like, okay, the phase 1, all information that everybody already knew. But what if we piecing it together though, what we can realize now is this was always the plan. Phase 1 was it. They were supposed to do the Epstein files, phase 1, and then keep it pushing. Niggas were supposed to forget. That's why they banked on, oh, we giving out these binders. That's why they banked on, oh yeah, we're gonna be releasing whatever information. Cause this was supposed to be it. But niggas wasn't dumb. Nah, they wanted they pound of flesh, my nigga. They wanted the raw, sordid details. Not the shit that was already in the media. Not the shit that was already in the media. Not the shit that you could Google. Now here we are, 7 months, about 7-8 months after an election. We all thought that we was going to have to go 4 years to see whether or not Donald Trump was a complete fraud. I mean, we already knew his policies was trash. We already knew that economically his main focus was cutting taxes for rich people and making it easier for corporations to make money at the expense of everybody else. We knew that. But at a bare minimum, this nigga had the facade. He created the image for you niggas to repeatedly defend. And I don't know if the rest of y'all take this as personal as I do. It's because during the election, I had a lot of conversations about celebrity worship. I engaged with a lot of different people across different platforms on what it is that makes Donald Trump a viable candidate. Why do people care about, or why do people look at him as somebody that can occupy the position of the presidency, even though he's shown to not have any of the skills to do any of it effectively? Now, my radical leftist progressive stance is like, effective in terms of government. It has its flaws, but at the same time, it's like, shit, we don't want a drunk pilot. Shout out to Bobby Digital, said he found me on Consciously channel. Appreciate you pulling up for the late night session. So here we are. They didn't said the black book was, the FBI had it. They didn't told us that it was on the list, is on Pam Bondi's desk. They didn't release the phase 1 while niggas is waiting for phase 2 to get nothing. Y'all got nothing. To be so damn faithful. He can't even do the conspiracy part right. And what made it possible for him to be able to do it, if we being real, this is of course me talking shit about Donald Trump. This is y'all. This is the American voter. This is the discourse that niggas just said we was okay with and just rock with. That's who I feel like is really more at fault. We can blame Democrats and Republicans all fucking day, but when we're talking amongst ourselves, when we're creating our demands, when we're trying to figure out what matters to us in terms of our voting calculus, who gets to shape that? Where do we specifically, and I'm talking, I usually be talking, I say we, I'm usually talking about black folks specifically. But where do we get our voting calculus from? But this goes beyond, just a question of black people, because like, one, we didn't get that nigga elected. We didn't vote for Donald Trump. But what I will say is the discourse that was taking place among us. I never put the election of Donald Trump at the feet of black people, even though he got more black people than ever, right? Like he got like what, 20-something%? He got like 20-something%. So it was a nice little leap. I think like from 8% in 2016. I think he got a little uptick. I think it was like up to 12 or 13% with Joe Biden. So he got a little uptick. But it wasn't niggas though. We over like even 20%, nigga. Like that's still underwhelmingly like that's not the black vote. 20% is not the black vote. So I don't want y'all to take my criticism of niggas in the conversation that we had as we are the reason why he got elected. No, that's white women and white male or Latino men. That was white women and Latino men that said we're riding with Donald Trump. But the conversation we was having did not fucking help, and that's keeping it a stack because I don't give a damn. Because we're gonna talk about some of the detrimental impact of Trump's policies over the last 7 months. But before that, let's not act like we wasn't making it more amenable, making Trump's conversation seem more relevant than what it really was because we didn't think Kamala was black. Niggas' priorities was still fucked up there. But outside the Kamala black conversation, what really got me was blaming Democrats as a scapegoat for anything and everything that happened. That became scripture for niggas. But Democrats. Kamala and the Democrats. It's like, yes, and don't even take this as a defense of Democrats, because as a black leftist, I'm telling you, my criticism of Democrats is much more nuanced and complete than a lot of shit y'all hear niggas complain about in these comment sections. But the reality is, even though Democrats deserve the type of criticism that they deserve, when we were expressing our frustration, and again, I get it. It was kind of, what's the word? Counter-hegemonic. Like in 2016. To be like, why should I just vote for the Democrat? Right? Y'all been telling us that for years. Vote for the Democrat. Now we done had 8 years of Obama and shit ain't where we wanted to be. We not really feeling the whole, like we've given y'all a lot. Over a long period of time, we've given y'all a lot. So it made sense for niggas to finally be like, nah, we gonna need more than that. But the problem was you stopped there. Most of us just stopped there. Most of us just stopped at thinking, we not getting what we need from them. And then somehow came to the conclusion that we should be more amenable to right-wing talking points simply because we don't fuck with Democrats. That's counterintuitive, counterproductive. Was not helpful. And it made us lazy in how we had the conversation. It made us more lazy in how we talked about shit. We went around talking about, well, Donald Trump seemed like Donald Trump a real one. Donald Trump speak his mind. Donald Trump ain't no fake bullshit. Because everybody, majority of us kind of seen that. Most people, the aversion to the MAGA hat that we had to do with the fact that this nigga was a obvious play. Obvious. It's no way in hell we as black people should be cheerleading one of the greatest examples of white privilege to ever walk through the halls of the White House. No way. Most black people able to recognize that. And even a lot of the ones, and this is where we get into the problem, a lot of the ones that was even able to recognize it, they recognized it, but still kind of leaned into some of the rhetoric and some of the conversation because of Democrats. And what we don't realize is that instinctive response that became a crutch. The idea that we should just say but Democrats and I'm a free thinker became a crutch. It became lazy. We abandoned critical thinking to attach ourselves to a script that was counterintuitive. It was half-baked. The criticism of but Democrats is half-baked. It doesn't get to the other side. If your criticism of Democrats doesn't break you away from partisan rhetoric, but actually just moves you to the other side of partisan rhetoric, you are not doing yourself any favors. That is not free thinking. It's actually the exact opposite. You traded in one plantation for the other one. And that's what made even the Democrat plantation rhetoric so crazy, is because you weren't removing yourself from the paradigm. You was just selecting a new master. And now we are seeing the obvious, what was known, what was expected. The person that told you he was going to drain the swamp since 2016. For damn near a decade now. We about to be approaching a decade of I'm the real one. It took 10 years. It took blatant hypocrisy for niggas to get to the point to where they starting to burn MAGA hats and shit like that. Let me holler at the chat. Toya, I miss you. Don't be mad at me. But Devastating said it was more about going against Kamala than support for Trump. That's a fact. Miss Ma'am in the building was good. Emmanuel in the building was good. KJ said it's white people in general that voted for Trump the most. That's for sure. Bobby Digital said my boss drinks the Kool-Aid when he is such a good dude, but we debate at work. And I think that's what's the most disheartening. Because when you find people that you like, damn, you respectable. What the fuck is in you that make you look at this fraudulent ass nigga and be like, I support that. That undermines the realness to me, bro. That just undermines the realness. But thank you for that. Thank you for that observation. Because now what we starting to realize is that it was never about holding Democrats accountable. Ever. Trump used the liberal boogeyman to convince us to fight with each other over bullshit. Us to fight each other over talking points that don't benefit us. And that just ain't even true for black people. That's true for poor people too. Trump don't give a fuck about poor white voters. He don't give a fuck. Poor MAGA is the ones who was like, yes, the Epstein shit. Poor MAGA. Great replacement MAGA. Stormfront, Reddit, motherfucking 4chan, wherever they can be found, that the QAnon, that is the MAGA that got Trump to where he's at. And out of all the things that he could have done, yeah, maybe he couldn't completely upset Jewish control over media like the white nationalists wish he would. But he at least could have exposed all these Democrats that's trafficking these kids. He at least could have exposed that, right? Niggas was fooled. Oh, shit. Here we go. Niggas was fooled. And this is what they was fooled by.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files.
Y'all hear how timid she is?
That's what I meant by that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively
y'all see how timid she is?
The video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it
all this
was
stuttering and
showing
shit.
He committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
And that's it on Epstein. And that's it on Epstein. And this is who y'all said, like, this is gonna drain the swamp. It would not be so bad If y'all messaging wasn't so damn aggressive, it would not be so bad. If it wasn't this moralistic tone of we got to do the right thing and y'all protecting pedophiles, y'all protecting the sex traffickers. The Democrats are out here protecting the sex traffickers. Now, what is Donald? Are we going to get that same bluntness? Are we going to be as direct when we talking about the care that we have for children? Right? Because we don't care about children in terms of, them getting rid of government health care and accessibility for health care and affordability for health care. We don't care about children in that context. But when them Democrats is kidnapping children and taking them to Epstein Island, that matters. So do we keep that same bluntness? Do we keep that same directness? Do we have that same moralistic superiority? When it comes to now that the fact that the man you wanted is in power now? Of course not. It's blame the Democrats. It's blame the Democrats. Watch this. Where is that? Hold on, yeah.
Why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled? Why do you think that is?
Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time.
Okay. I don't know how direct y'all have heard the response to this. How do you not understand the thing that you campaigned on? How do you not understand? Because see, everybody else is going somehow we going to get past this. Somehow niggas is going to be able to kind of rationalize things for themselves. But how, as a Trump supporter, can you sit back and hear this man question why you care about the Epstein files? The same person that said, yeah, it gotta get done. It gotta get done. We gotta get it out here. How?
He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going.
Only bad people.
Credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say let them have it.
Think about it. Only bad people. Why does nigga act like the internet don't exist?
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
Why these niggas act like the internet don't exist? The reason why they act like the internet don't exist is because y'all, for 10 years, niggas have let Donald Trump get away with this shit. And the excuse has repeatedly been, over and over and over again, that, oh, he's just keeping it real. He's going to drain the swamp. Don't you worry. He's going to drain. Once the Democrats get out his way, he's going to drain the swamp. Don't you worry. That's why he ain't got no problem saying blatantly false shit compared to shit that he said in the past. Months ago. Not even years ago. Months ago. Because y'all niggas let him get away with it. Shout out to my homies, man. Shout out to my homies on Psychopatheus channel. Y'all subscribe to him, Psychopatheus on YouTube. But I'm talking to niggas earlier before, and I'm telling them, like, when I was getting off work, I'm letting them know, like, yeah, I'm going live. You know what I'm saying? I'm appreciating them dialoguing with y'all just to kind of get my mind right in terms of having that conversation. And I'm on there kind of talking some of the shit that I'm talking now, just kind of, preparing to say it to y'all here by myself, especially since Toya not here. And niggas is hitting the panel talking about, man, Trump gangster, because he said Jeffrey Epstein, ain't nobody worried about him. What? He's literally flat out lying about why his supporters care about the Epstein shit in the first place. And the only thing niggas got to say is he gangster for saying don't nobody care about Epstein? Where the fuck are niggas' priorities? And these are the, well, you know, these are the homies. But where the fuck are niggas' priorities? We like cut around all of the things that make Donald Trump a bad person because there are some things that he does that, I don't know, resonates with niggas. I don't know about the rest of y'all. White nationalism and white privilege don't resonate well with me. It don't stick well with me. It don't vibe well with me. Especially when you have somebody that's willing to say, on one hand, yeah, we got to release the Epstein files. Just to turn around and then say, I have no reason why people care about these things. And can you listen to anything else he says moving forward? As a supporter of Donald Trump. Can you listen to anything else he says moving forward when you know he's willing to lie this blatantly? And guess what? This is where you should take it personal. He's willing to lie on you. Trump supporter, white man, poor white person, poor white blue collar worker. He's willing to lie on you. Yes, you can hate Mexicans all you want. You can hate black people all you want. But the motherfucker that look like you is the one that's taking your health care, making shit more expensive, and lying on your motherfucking ass, talking about you listening to Obama, and that's the only reason you care about this Epstein shit. Not just lying, flat out blaming. Flat out blaming. Let me get this. Let me see if I can move this out the way. Nope. Hold on. Where is it at? Oh. Hold on. I'm fucking up, y'all. All right, there we go. Look at what this nigga said. On his own shit. This nigga said the radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again. The radical about Epstein? Just like with fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which the Dems swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. And even the Russia scam itself, totally fake. A made up story in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 presidential election. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They're no good at governing, no good at, like, who can, like, I mean, trying to be clear. As y'all see, when I get excited, I start stuttering sometimes. But who in the fuck does Donald Trump think y'all are, Trump supporters? And I hope this get out to y'all. But who does Donald Trump think y'all are? Y'all wasn't the ones that was believing in the Russia bullshit. Y'all wasn't the ones that was believing in the Steele dossier. Y'all didn't believe none of that shit. Y'all agreed that Russia was a hoax. So why on God's green earth would Donald Trump be accusing his faithful of being duped by Democrats? Like, let's be real here. And y'all let me know, if the quality of the shit. Make sure my shit ain't fucking up. Alright. Oh, Toya said, I ain't reading all that. I'm sorry that happened, or I'm happy for you. Whichever applies. Oh, no, I got y'all, though. I got y'all. Also, unlike Republicans, because again, he's saying the Jeffrey Epstein shit is a hoax. The shit that him and his team is saying that niggas need to pay attention to, he's saying it's a hoax, okay? So he said, their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have brought into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker. Wait, when the lady asked you about releasing the tapes or releasing the files, why didn't you tell her that that's an Obama scam and you ain't got nothing to do with that? Help me understand. When the lady said, would you be willing to release the Epstein files? You was like, yeah, I would. When J.D. Vance was asked about releasing the Epstein files, his response is, yeah, we got to do it. We got to do it. But now he's being told it's a scam? Now we being told it's a scam? Then this is where he really started. I don't even want to get into all the other lies where he talk about more success in 6 months. But anyway, because we're going to get into that bullshit. He said, let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible, unprecedented success. The Democrats' work. But you told these people that this was going to expose the Democrats. That's what the lie was. So how are we supposed to move forward with political discourse that's shaped by these types of lies? How? When these are the type of people that we have to that have no problem running behind Donald Trump and trying to clean.
How is he convicted? How do you convict a guy who's dead?
Epstein was convicted in I believe, under Merrick Garland's Justice Department. That could be. Am I wrong on that?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, right? This is News Nation. This is on Newsmax. So don't try to tell niggas. We can't tell niggas that this is a some left-wing Democrat type of propaganda to try to mix somebody's words around. This is a friendly platform for somebody like Bill O'Reilly and Donald Trump.
I don't think so. And then he was incarcerated, and then he committed suicide. Okay, the suicide thing is bull. Whether you
Bill, I think this is important. Bill, I think this is important.
Now you see how he's still trying to play with the conspiracy. Now instead of just saying, well, they lying to us about the suicide. Oh no, the suicide thing is bull. If this was under Obama, if this was under Biden, Biden is lying about the suicide. Let's stop acting like any of these conversations have any type of legitimacy or genuine at all. Because listen to this.
He was arrested in 2019 and he committed suicide in 2019. He died August 10th of 2019. So the Biden administration was not involved in a conviction or a trial of him. They were of Ghislaine Madam.
Look at this nigga.
Okay. And that's a good point of clarification. But he was arrested and indicted under Merrick Garland.
No. Under Trump.
Who had all of the information.
Epstein was arrested, indicted, and committed suicide under Trump. In 2019, Trump was president. Merrick Garland was not the attorney general.
Silence. That's all of you niggas. That's all the niggas that's been on here arguing for Donald Trump for the last 10 years. At this point, you can no longer get past the lies and the shit that y'all making up. It's done. Look at him. He's trying to find some way to blame the Democrats. Look at him. Look how desperate he is to blame the Democrats. And this is y'all's strategy.
Trump was president. Merrick Garland was not the attorney general.
Okay.
Silence. Confusion. Silence and confusion. Because when it comes to how niggas are with Donald Trump, you have the concrete proof that you have not, this ain't had shit to do with a politician. This has been celebrity worship this whole time. This is political codependency. The more y'all internalize Trump's talking points, the easier it made for him to lie and sell bullshit. And the less power niggas had to actually push back and challenge him. Y'all treat his word like the Bible. Y'all treated his word like what he was saying was legitimate with no evidence, no proof. And now he's saying y'all are the problem for running with some shit that he lied to you about. And what are y'all gonna do about it? Nothing. Nothing. What? Because the only thing that's gonna happen is they're gonna do what niggas be bragging about doing, right? And just not vote. They're just not gonna show up. But he's going to be able to remain in power. He's going to continue to be able to do things that have been considered detrimental, that are dangerous, not for just black people, but for poor people across the board. I get the race conversation it's a legitimate conversation to have, but it's also the easier conversation to have. Whether you have it unintelligently or whether you have it with nuance, it is the easier conversation to have. Getting niggas to understand that Donald Trump don't give a fuck about poor people as a whole is the uphill battle. I'm looking at you, white Trump supporter, white woman who put this nigga in power, white man who just lost his Medicaid, who probably is not gonna get a retirement, who lost his benefits, who lost his pension, white man. What Donald Trump is doing is to the benefit of the people who take from you repeatedly, not the people that they tell you to be afraid of. Not the people that they tell you are the ones that's going to rob you and take your jobs. The people that's taking your jobs is the ones that's moving the jobs overseas. Not the Mexicans working the farms. Your jobs are going to China for less regulation, cheaper for the corporation, more profit. But y'all believed him because he said, be scared of the Democrats, be scared of the brown people. Be scared of the Mexicans. Be scared of the blacks. All of this cultural shit. We ignore the bad policy, which is what we about to get into in a second. But we ignore the bad policy simply for niggas to get caught up in bullshit that does not benefit them. Now, this is what I mean by getting into policy. When you look at what mattered to voters in the 2024 election, the top two things was immigration and the economy. Economy first, immigration second. Economy first, immigration second. Now, what we are seeing with this Epstein shit, because Donald Trump already did the exact opposite of what he said he was going to do with the economy. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to look at some of that in just a second. When it comes to immigration, yeah, he's locking niggas up, but the impact, I don't know what niggas expect that's gonna happen, because whether immigrants was involved or whether they wasn't, corporations were still underplaying black people. Black people were still dealing with issues with employment, right? Even though we had some of the highest unemployment on record over the last two administrations, both Trump had record high unemployment for blacks as well as the Biden administration. But nobody's going to tell you that the main problem facing black workers, nobody's going to fucking say is fucking immigrants. I mean, no scholar is going to say that. No evidence is going to point to that. You're going to have speculation. You're going to have the fear mongering, but no evidence is going to point to that. So what we seeing with the Epstein and the anger that we see associated with Epstein is because it was never about the policy. It was always about, is the bad guy that we're scared of the bad guy that Donald Trump is also afraid of, the bad guy that Donald Trump also wants to get. That's what the rhetoric was about. Because if you look at what they actually said they cared about, like immigration and economic policy, and it's only looking at Trump voters, not even just looking at everybody. If we just look at Trump voters, you'll see that even so Epstein out the window, he lied about that. Now let's talk policy and show how he lied about all the things that voters said was important going into 2024. Now specifically, Trump voters heavily relied on Medicaid. Heavily. The shit that they cutting, yeah, that's heavily has to do with elderly, rural people, for example. You got district maps that show that the largest Medicaid caseloads are in Republican districts. I think I got that. Let me pull that up. So we can take a look at that. Because y'all know I always say at some point we got to talk policy. So let's do it. Let's talk about the impact of Trump policy just over 7 months. Just over 7 months. Rural hospitals at risk, cuts to Medicaid will further threaten access. All of those rural areas red. If you look at any quote unquote red and blue map, even though I feel like that type of reductionist approach to understand politics in America, it undermines us recognizing the complexity of politics. But whatever, most of the map is red, right? Because most of the map is rural areas, middle of the country, the south, right? You got the key areas of north, south, and then the coast. But at the end of the day, most of America is rural. This means that Donald Trump's budget bill, that big beautiful bill, is threatening access to hospitals in areas where people voted for Trump the most. Where they voted for Trump the most. Trump had the biggest gains in high Medicaid counties. People who worry about Medicaid the most voted for Donald Trump. And him and Republicans have actively worked to undermine that accessibility. You are shooting yourself in the foot, white person. Now, I know y'all upset about the Epstein shit, but now maybe, just maybe, if we broaden the conversation and talk about policy, you'll see that Donald Trump not only lied to you about Epstein, he does not give a fuck about your ability to access health care. He does not give a fuck about your ability to go to the hospital and your ability to afford it at all. Now, maybe because you see he's lying blatantly about the Epstein shit, that you can now recognize that his policies was never to your benefit. Getting rid of Medicaid is a death sentence for a lot of people. Not being able to afford medication, not being able to afford medicine, not being able to afford to go to the doctor, which actually increases medical costs and medical debt, creating a greater strain on resources in the system. But fuck Obamacare. Right? Fuck Obama. I think it gets even worse when we start having more nuanced conversations about immigration. Now, it's just another article about Medicaid enrollment by eligibility group. But it gets even crazier. This is where they've been lying to y'all about immigration. Why are there some Republicans that are pushing to protect unauthorized immigrants? Anybody want to take a guess? Because Trump's mass deportation drive is driving away immigrant labor from farms who rely on immigrant labor. And guess where this immigrant labor is centralized? In GOP areas. These farmers are Trump supporters. These farmers are conservatives. These farmers are MAGA. And literally, the immigration policy that y'all voted for is now working against you. Republicans are now fighting to be like, well, can we at least keep the ones that's working for us? Why? Because lawmakers say the agricultural industry will be devastated with the type of deportation that Donald Trump is trying to execute. But Mexicans, well, maybe the shit they've been telling y'all about Mexicans, you can get off of, right? They're known liars. So if they didn't have your best interest at heart when they talking about this, this Epstein shit, you think they got their best interest at heart when they telling you that that the biggest threat to your economic well-being is immigrants? Reporting in California shows that ICE raids have scared off large shares of field crews. One farmer has estimated 70% of workers absent, putting entire crops at risk and threatening farm solvency. Economists has warned that losing this workforce will raise consumer food prices. What niggas was just complaining about eggs being like $9, $10 when that shit hit $20 because it ain't nobody working on these farms. When broccoli costs $40 because ain't nobody working on these farms, is niggas still gonna be sitting back saying, but they're illegal. They have to come the right way when you paying $30 for broccoli. There's an article here that says that local farm leaders in California, largely pro-Trump agricultural counties, report workers not showing up out of fear after DHS reversed a brief pause on raids. They stress the sector supports Trump, but needs labor to keep U.S. food affordable. How can we be this dumb? How can we be this dumb? How can we be this dense? What is it to negotiate? If the policy that he's trying to enforce for cultural, white nationalist, xenophobic reasons is hurting our ability to produce food and sell it at reasonable prices, what is the, well, we support Trump, but what the fuck is the but? I mean, really, what the fuck is the we support? What are you confused by? But you'll never see this article, some Republicans push to protect unauthorized immigrants. You'll never see this be the main part of the conversation. Because when you gotta ask why, are Republicans pushing to protect unauthorized immigrants, you'll recognize that the witch hunt that they put y'all on, the xenophobic witch hunt that they got y'all on, is actually working to your detriment. Niggas think that, oh, getting rid of migrants means that black people will get more jobs. That's a lie. That's a lie, according to the Economic Policy Institute. That's a lie, according to the Economic Policy Institute. Let's bring up the major takeaways from the Economic Policy Institute. If the administration succeeds in deporting 4 million people over 4 years, the report estimates that minus 3.3 million immigrant jobs will be lost. And 2.6 million jobs will be lost among U.S.-born workers. A total of roughly 5.9 million positions eliminated. That's 3.6% of employment. They've been trying to tell y'all that it's the immigrants who are getting in the way of jobs, who are taking the jobs. No, immigrants add to the economy, genius. All it literally takes is understanding the intricacies of how our economy works. Because those job creators, right? The people that's hiring the migrants, they are providing a service. That is things that are being done, whether it's for the community, whether it's for the country, whatever. They're hiring these migrants to provide a service. So the removal of those migrants will not create just a vacuum where we can just fill in. No, it's going to take U.S. born jobs with them. The ripple effect of the job market will have it to where for every immigrant losing a job via deportation, approximately 0.96 U.S.-born workers will also lose employment, meaning U.S.-born workers represent nearly 44% of total job losses if they go about deportation the way that Donald Trump is talking about it. Because we cared about immigration. This is the lack of understanding of the impact of deportation. Pure Black said, I doubt any white people are watching them and see this, man. Hey, hopefully once I clip this up, man, they go viral and then people get the message. But we have to think about these things rationally. Just because somebody's saying that they're pro-immigration does not mean that they're pushing Democratic talking points. At this point, I'm hoping that y'all realize that pushing those, they're just Democratic shield talking points because somebody is pro-immigration gets in the way of understanding why somebody would be pro-immigration. Gets in saying just deporting millions of migrants is counterproductive. Just saying that's just Democrat talking points trying to replace us in the voting gets in the way of us understanding the economic impact of removing that many workers from a workforce. We are undermined with how they move. We are undermined when y'all internalize the Trump script and think everything can just be equated to but the Democrats. We almost done. How long have I been on here? I ain't been on here that long, have I? Oh, it's okay. Yeah, all right. We're gonna finish up. But we gotta go over the policy impact though, because but Democrats gets in the way of us having of talking about the policy impact. Let's see. After immigration, what niggas was talking about the economy? No, before immigration. So immigration came second. The economy was number one. So then the question becomes, at what point? Oh, actually, on immigration still. Before I get to the economy, not only will immigration make it more, or the mass deportations negatively impact the job market, it literally also makes it harder to buy homes. Yes, labor shortages, immigration crackdowns take a toll on the construction industry, which makes it more difficult for people to be able to afford homes when homes are already unaffordable. These are the factors that go into recognizing what matters when we're talking politics. Being able to just call something a Democratic talking point or call somebody a Democratic shield gets in the way of what matters when talking politics. Your xenophobia does not dismiss the fact that the type of deportations that y'all brag about or that y'all want to see will make it harder for people to buy homes. The study produced by the University of Denver in collaboration with the Home Builders Institute and the National Association of Home Builders found that the annual economic impact due to longer construction timelines associated with the lack of skilled labor totals approximately $10.8 billion per year. The researchers estimate that the labor shortage led to about 19,000 fewer single-family homes being constructed in 2024. The construction industry labor woes are partially due to lingering effects of COVID-19 pandemic. The industry lost nearly 1 million jobs in April 2020 alone. But have y'all heard anybody talk about this in the context of whether we should be for or against immigration, whether ICE is doing us a fucking favor? I mean, beside the fact that like ICE is law enforcement and it's always fuck the police on the chop up. But the reason why you don't hear people talking about the impact that this has on home affordability is because when you say that deportations like this are not a good thing, you get called a Democratic shield and the conversation goes no further. Anybody that still approaches political conversation from that perspective, you are no longer engaging in any type of legitimate anything. You are running your mouth. Your boy did not, the Democrats didn't stop him from releasing this shit at all. At all. Let's go ahead and finish this up. I wanted to get to the tariffs. Let's talk about the tariffs real quick, because again, the economy was the most important thing. Wasn't this Epstein shit that niggas is mad about? It was the most important thing. And Donald Trump was telling us he was going to focus on the economy from the get-go. We knew that with the tariffs conversation. Now, according to the, what is this? According to the budget lab at Yale, they examined two scenarios. The April 2nd reciprocal tariffs and then all tariffs enacted in 2025. And it's shitting on consumer prices. Fucking them up. April 2 tariffs alone increased consumer prices by 1.3%. That's called inflation, people. Costing households roughly $21,000 in 2024 dollars. Low-income households lose about $980 annually. Trump's tariffs is taking money out of folks' pockets. And we could see the detrimental impact in only 7 months. Our GDP has shrunk. The April 2 sheriffs reduced U.S. GDP growth by 0.5 points and shrink long-run output by 0.4%. That's about $100 billion a year. All tariffs collectively subtract 0.9 points from 2025 growth, leading to a persistently 0.6 smaller economy, $160 billion annually. Prices is going up. The GDP is going down. That's the exact opposite of what Donald Trump said mattered. That's the exact opposite of what Donald Trump said he was going to do in his first 6 months as president. Low-income households hit the hardest. The April 2nd tariffs cost them 2.3% of income versus the 0.9% of top earners. I want y'all to think about this. While people who are considered low income cost them 2.3% of their income, top earners, rich people, 0.9%. This is manufactured. Poor people aren't accidentally being fucked over by Trump's policies. This is what he always set out to do. And he used the Epstein shit as a way to confuse y'all. He knew y'all would be on board as long as he was pushing this Epstein foolishness. And then once he got into power, he no longer needed y'all. Ain't that what they say about us and the fucking Democrats? Ain't that what they say about us? Don't they say that we vote for Democrats, we get them in office, and then once they get in office, they stop giving a fuck about us? That sounds damn familiar, don't it? Damn familiar. So whether we talking immigration, whether we talking inflation, whether we talking the economy, whether we talking taxes, whether we talking Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump has shown a failure in being able to produce in any of the most significant ways for poor people. And it was those same poor people that were the most invested in uncovering all the things that they accused Democrats of bringing up. And now here we are. After 10 years, we can look at Trump's policies and say nothing he spoke on has been productive. Nothing he spoke on has pushed us forward. Nothing he spoke on can we sit here and say, well, at least. Because even if you dismiss the clumsy, xenophobic, counterproductive approach to immigration, even if you dismiss the tariffs, the bad economic policy, the policy that's detrimental to poor people while making rich people richer, even if you ignore that, at least he was going to drain the swamp. At least he was going to drain the swamp. But what do you have now? What do you have now? If he's not draining the swamp, if he's not exposing the Democrats, what do you have to hold on to now? And I mean, by all means, I'm pretty sure niggas is still gonna find ways to defend and argue about certain shit. But none of y'all niggas have any legitimacy with me. I'm not taking nothing you niggas say about politics serious at this point. This man looked at you and said, the thing that I campaigned on, the thing that me and my staff and me and my team said that we was going to execute for y'all so we can expose these Democrats, y'all just got told that that's only Democrats that came up with that. And I'm trying to see how y'all going to move. I'm trying to see, because the discourse over the last 10 years is dead. Democrats can't blame Republicans. Republicans can't blame, because the next time y'all see me on here, I'm probably gonna be on here talking about Mom Donnie in New York, and Democrats cannibalizing themselves, running behind Cuomo and Eric Adams. But that's a stream for another day. But y'all best believe, as we close out, the conversation, the types of conversations that Trump supporters was pushing for the last 10 years is dead. Your discernment is trash. and you have no credibility in terms of your political and electoral logic in the way you think discourse should go. At this point, if we still hear niggas blaming Democrats, we should believe that they're just as desperate as Donald Trump is right now after being exposed. We got to step our game up. We can't be stuck on the same bullshit. Either start reading or shut the fuck up when it comes to this politics shit. If you really don't care, then cool. Say that and stay on that. But the age of these ill-informed propagandists, bullshit selling, back and forth discourse about how we should move politically, that shit is done. That shit is done. And anybody that's still taking it serious ain't taking the conversation serious. And we really dealing with people's lives. Like, people losing Medicaid is serious. People losing SNAP benefits is serious. People not being able to afford homes is serious. People not being able to afford groceries is serious. And that's the reality of what we're looking at. When they start firing people, when people start losing their jobs here in the United States because of the type of deportations that Donald Trump went, you can't blame the Mexicans. And it's unfortunate that we have to learn this lesson this way. But if niggas chose to elect this motherfucker, and again, when I say niggas, I'm talking about, again, the white women, Latino men. I think it's specifically Cuban men, specifically. They're definitely the ones that, in terms of putting him in that position, but none of us did any of ourselves any favors with how we had these conversations. I mean, I say us because I'm grouping myself in, but y'all know I don't talk like y'all. I don't do that like y'all. But with that being said, man, thank y'all for joining me late. Toya, I miss you. I'm so sorry. I had to do it. I had to get it out. But we gonna bring it back. It's gonna be more to come. Thank y'all everybody that pulled up. KJ, Pure Black, Kashar, Bobby Digital, Devastating, my nigga Tyler, Miss Ma'am. Yeah, anybody, Emmanuel for sure. Anybody I missed, my apologies, but I appreciate y'all being here. The chop up is back. Our summer vacation is over with. And what y'all can expect from us? We are working with Lee to get the band back together. We trying to do our reunion tour, and get shit cracking again. So expect to see us here and on Lee's channel. Y'all know he broke that 100,000 subscriber mark like that. So, expect to see us over there as well, building up this platform. But I appreciate y'all. I will see y'all next time. This is the Chop Up, and I'm out. I love you, Toya.